Howdy, Mark Greathouse here. Now, some folks call me Tumbleweed. I sort of cotton to that. I deeply appreciate those of you who bought and read my Tumbleweed sagas. My fifth saga, Oasis Grit, Texans Answer the Call, was released back on December 21st by Defiance Press and Publishing. Well, it seems about time to offer y'all something new. Now, most folks understand my deep passion for history, especially history of the Old West. I studied it all back in my college days and remained drawn to it through these many decades. So it is that I thought it would be fascinating to draw connections between experiences from America's old Western frontier to our nation today. In fact, I write a monthly newspaper op-ed for a local paper applying wisdom drawn from America's Western frontier to the issues of today. I think of it in the context of the famous quote by the philosopher George Santayana back in 1905, who said, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it." As to tumbleweeds, well, they tumble randomly across the prairies, causing concerns for whatever destination they reach. Today's issues can be like tumbleweeds, as folks fail to heed the lessons of history. And those lessons pop up randomly as crises and cause all manner of havoc. A 1930 ballad associated tumbleweed with freedom. Now, I won't bother you with singing it, but it goes, "See them tumbling down, plowing their love to the ground. Lonely but free I'll be found, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweeds." Thus it is that I'm beginning a new post called Ask Tumbleweed, where Old West history and wisdom serve up lessons for today's issues, from guns to news media, education, gender, race, economic, government, and more. I expect you could call me a sage of the Old West. So follow Ask Tumbleweed, as lonely but free will be found on today's issues. I invite you all to submit questions to asktumbleweed@gmail.com. Now, Tumbleweed will thereafter strive to offer perspectives rooted in Old West history. Warning, I'm especially partial to Texas history. Does that grab you? Well, Oasis Grit, Texas Answers the Call, my latest Tumbleweed saga, draws upon frontier history with new tests for Texas Ranger Captain Luke Dunn. His mission, thanks to the addition of the events and accompanying dynamic sweeping South Texas during the early years of the war between the states, grows a little more complex. Newspapers of the day in Texas were decidedly pro-secession and pro-Confederacy. The Austin Democrat and later the State Times spoke loudly for secession and then against the horrors of Reconstruction. They were often purveyors of what was called yellow journalism, resorting to sensationalism and exaggeration to support their views. Kind of the equivalent of today's fake news, I expect. Now, in addition to that, latest Oasis Grit release, y'all have been treated thus far to Oasis Justice, Oasis Reprise, Oasis Deceit, and Oasis Blood. And the Oasis thing, it's about where most of the action takes place in South Texas. Oasis Strip, Oasis Town, Oasis, well, it'll drive you nutty. Matter of fact, it's named after the pecan trees that line the Oasis River. I also urge you all to experience Nicholas Dunn, The Making of a Texas Legend, the biography I wrote about the life of my great-great-grandfather, a true Texan who immigrated from Ireland and became legendary at helping tame the Oasis Strip. So all of my books from Defiance Press and Publishing are available online in print, e-audio, or ebook from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, most popular online booksellers. I've even got a special available as I offer a signed set of all 5 Tumbleweed sagas for only $60. Just grab my email from the contact page at tumbleweed.me. We can work that out. Meanwhile, I urge you to find yourself a comfy place. Let your imagination come alive, reliving America's Old West through the Tumbleweed sagas. If a question comes to mind, reach out to asktumbleweed@gmail.com. And do read my sagas. Enjoy a cup of coffee, or even sip a glass of wine or something more potent. And especially, do post reviews. Now, y'all take care, you hear?